Why, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sally and this is Sally Stitches and my channel about my love of crafts, particularly cross stitch, but the and encompasses all the other crafts I like, including, knitting, crocheting, quilting, baking, organizing, everything. However, we're going to ignore that and today because today I am going to be talking exclusively about cross stitching because I've wanted to do this for the, whole year, 2025, I guess. But I think today we need to do a WIP parade. But I'm kind of thinking of it as a WIP or not parade because I know that there are some projects that are in my WIP basket that I didn't touch in 2024 and that I'm just not feeling. And so nothing against those projects. I think they're lovely projects and nothing against the designers or, I think it's just like I'm not in the mood. And so what I want to do is I kind of want to empty that WIP basket out a little bit. And I think the best way to do that is to talk about them with you. So, but before we do that, let me show you the things I have been working on pretty actively. First off, I do have a finish to share with you. And this is something that I was really close to finishing last time, but now it's done. Ta-da! So this is a design by Heart and Hand Needleart. It is called Frosty Tiny Town. And I stitched it and I decided to make it into a drum. I like making these long, skinny projects into drums because they're just easier to display. I ended up stitching this on a fabric that's a 32 count. I believe it is Glacier by Forbidden Fiber Company. And then as far as the threads I used, I had a couple of the called for Weeks dye works that I used, but then for the other ones, I got my DMC color chart out and then all of my color and cotton threads because I used to be part of a thread of the month, floss of the month club. Sadly, they've discontinued that. And I just found like close matches for everything. And so I just am really happy with how it turned out. I used a drum tutorial that's available from Kathy Haberman of Hands On Design, and she has it right on her blog. If you Google Hands On Design drum tutorial, you'll find it. But it's really easy. Basically, you just take, some mat board rounds, add a little batting for the top and the bottom. You sew the ends of the cross stitch piece together, and then you sew them around on the drum. So there you go. When I display this, I like to use like little cake plates or little like candle, like pillar candle holders, to make some interest in decorating. I really like that this piece is not explicitly Christmas themed. There is this bright red because I really wanted to try to accent the pretty pops of red that are in the design, but I can keep this out and it's, there's no Santa on it. And so I can keep it out. And that's why it's out now. So I also have another like almost finished. And do you know what? I forgot to get my cutting board. We'll just go without for now, and then I'll grab it for later. It's right on the other side of the camera there. So, but I'll just use my project bag. Now, I haven't ironed anything today, and one of my friends said that she saw on another person's Flosstube someone say, this isn't an ironing channel, this is a cross-stitch channel. And I like that because I hate ironing. It's like every time I get the ironing board out, I'm always worried my cat is going to knock the whole thing over, when I'm turning my back and it's hot and, I just, yeah. So I didn't iron any of this stuff, but I still think that you'll get a feel for it, I guess. So this is a piece I just finished the stitching on this weekend, and I am going to fully finish it very soon. And here we go. Ta-da! This is a design by Hands On Design, and this is called Winter Folk. Try to get you a little closer here. Lots of pretty grays and greens and browns with white accents. And this is part of a series that came out, and now all 4 of them in the series are out. Hi, Audrey. Audrey came to say hi. Now, I have stitched all 4 of them, and actually I have Autumn Folk here I can show you right now. So when I finish these flat. I like to use like a little rickrack trim on them, and then an accent fabric on the other side. And then I have this board, and this is a board that I received as part of a retreat gift from Chantel's 141 during the first pep rally she did. Hands On Design was the featured designer, and so she actually gave us this pattern as a pre-stitch project, and then we finished this at the retreat. And then I have since purchased the other seasons as they've been released. And now all 4 seasons are available. But the back of my piece has magnets. The back of my board has magnets. And so I can swap this out for a display, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish Winterfolk the same way and just use the same board for all 4 of them. Now I do have the trim that actually my friend Lynn from Wisconsin had given it to me when we had a little get together last year. But the trim I'm going to use is very, very close to the color of the fabric. It is a Lady Dot Creates in Bird's Nest. And then I need to find an accent fabric. And I'm really thinking that I want to try to find something that's either like this ice blue or maybe one of the greens in the pine trees. So looking forward to finishing that and then having all 4 seasons ready to go for my seasonal decor. Now, most of these designs, you just use, oh, I should mention they're all using the same fabric. The fabric is a 32 count by Fabrics by Stephanie called Driftwood. There are DMCs for these designs, but then there's also a pearl cotton color, and you can kind of see it. You can see it better on the finished piece here, but see that delicious texture? This is the pearl cotton. So 1 spool was enough for all 4 seasons. And actually she has released Christmas Folk, and I believe that this is used for that too. So I am going to put that with my Christmas stuff when I get that out in a little bit. So make sure this is put together. I have all these baskets out here so that I could kind of gather everything so it wasn't a slippy slidey pile this time. Feeling so organized. So this next project is my 2025 Stitch Alone. Now, what is a Stitch Alone? A Stitch Alone is a stitch along that I really, really liked that I want to stitch, but the stitch along part has like long since passed. But it's also too big to just like stitch in one go, because this was a year-long stitch along originally when it was released 10 years ago. So, but I've had a lot of fun, and this is a good one to break up into 12 parts because it is designed to have like a design every month, and each of the months are labeled. And so I have just completed February, and let me just take it out of the hoop so you can see the whole thing here. Now this is a project that I actually started right around the time the original Stitch Along was released. And I want to say that was like over 10 years ago. I made a counting mistake, and then I put it in a very long time out, and then I got it out this year. So let me just use my project bag to kind of flatten this out. And the design is Once Upon a Time by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And I have a January and I have a February here. Here we go. Oh, it's so wrinkled. I should have ironed. So originally I started as a center start, and I made a huge counting error. And because it was the center, and because this is a grid, so 3 designs across, 4 designs at, with a border around, I have decided to frog this, rip all these stitches out, and then I started from the January spot. So January is Snow White with a couple of the dwarves. They are doing laundry. And then February is the frog and the princess, and she looks like she's into baking. I see some pies and some cupcakes. I also see some Valentine's-y stuff. So that was fun to stitch during Valentine's. Now this is Picture This Plus fabric. It's 28 count. It is doubloon. It is a sparkly fabric. There's a really cool border. I am using all DMC colors. This border is charted in weeks, but I'm just using the DMC equivalent. And you can see like little castles and little mushrooms and floral motifs. That's going to be a lot of fun to go all the way around. So in March, I will stitch the March motif here. I will unpick a couple more stitches. So by the time I get to this is the May clue. Then it'll be empty and I'll have a clean project to work on. So I'm really glad that I can work on this Stitch Alone this year because this is a project I've really always wanted to do, but it is quite large. I did chart it in Markup RXP, which is a program I've really enjoyed using for organizing my projects. And it comes in at about 21,000 stitches. So getting 2 months in, that's like 15% done. That's good. You know, I'm going to keep at it. So kind of can't wait until March to, get back into it. Now, I do have the current year Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Stitch Along I'm working on, but I am behind. I actually haven't made any changes since the last time I showed you, but it is an active WIP, and they actually did release the most recent clue. And so this is what I've got. And so there are two animals next to that harp seal that will fill out that back, that bottom edge. And then there's a border that needs to go on one side. And then the last clue is going to be released in the next month. And that is going to go on the bottom. And so very soon they're going to announce the next Stitch Along. And I definitely think I will participate. I do like to sign up every year, even if I don't always finish them right on time. And I have a couple that I've signed up for that I haven't finished. Like they did Castle Homecoming a couple years ago. I'm a little less than halfway done on that. And so maybe I'll get that one out later this year. We'll see when I look at my WIPs that are over there. They just actually started a Patreon this week, and I'm really excited about that because I don't have any cross-stitch themed Patreons that I'm participating in, and boy, they are all tempting. I know that the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery just has one tier. I think it's $3. I don't know if they'll change things as they add more stuff, but I'm really enjoying the things that I'm seeing so far. They've put like a free Valentine pattern out. They are actually going to an in-person retreat. Like they're going to be a featured seller at a retreat in New Jersey. And boy, I wish I could go. I guess it's in April. I can't go. I'm really busy in April. Plus, I already have signed up for some retreats this year. But they are making an exclusive pattern, and they said that Patreon subscribers could get that pattern too. So I'm excited. Do you subscribe to any cross-stitch themed Patreons? I have a very strict Patreon budget because I have other kinds of hobbies that are also Patreon centric. Like I like to support a couple comic book artists, some YouTubers that have some. And so I am trying to keep my Patreon bill to like less than, $40 a month. And so I don't have a lot of room for other cross-stitch people, but maybe I need to like rotate in and out more. We'll see. So it's hard once you sign up to be like, no, I no longer want to support you, because I do want to continue supporting people, but I can't support everybody. This is a piece that I brought out to do because I thought the colors reminded me of Valentine's Day colors. And I have not gotten a lot in, but I have gotten a little bit. And so I'll show you my little update. This is Skipjack Sampler by Ardith Design. I'm stitching this on a 28 count fabric by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. It was part of the club fabric. I think it's called Magnolia Magic. And look at these cool colors. Now the flosses are all from Forbidden Fiber Company, and I had not used her flosses before, and I really like them. They remind me of sweetheart candies. So since I last showed you, I really only worked on this once in the last 3 weeks, and whoops daisy, I continued the border and I started doing, waves on the bottom. So there's another sail that goes here, and then the rest of the alphabet, because it's a sampler. And so I am really excited to get this done. I'm also really excited because this is an unusual shape. You can kind of see that it's like a short rectangle shape. And I know that, we're getting into like market season. And one thing that's exciting about market season is Chantel's 141 Design Company is going to release some new board shapes. And actually, they are releasing a custom board shape, where you can put your measurements in and then they can cut you a custom finishing board. And I might be all about that because this is just a little too wide for like a standard picture frame. And, I'm just always looking for some fun ways to finish my projects. So, but I have to finish the stitching first. So the last cross-stitch WIP I have been stitching on actively is a little bit of a deadline project. I want to finish this by the end of next month. This is 324 by Works by ABC. And I want to finish this by March 24th. Oops, I got to hold it the right way. But here we go. I've gotten quite a bit done because I have counted and I have I have yesterday's numbers. There are 32 days left before March 24th. And there are 53. I've stitched on it. So since I did the math, there are 53 motifs left. And so basically I've been doing 2 motifs a day, knowing that I'll kind of have like about a grace period of a week to get it done. So like when I get down to like the last 10 motifs, then I'll like know where I am on the calendar. But I'm really excited. I just started like into the oranges. So we've almost gotten like the full rainbow. We started with a bunch of pinks and purples on this corner. Now we're working into oranges, and then I think we get into some reds and some neutrals at the end. But very fun piece. There are other pieces that she's designed. There's one that she has released or going to be released for market, and it is, I think it's called 365. And so there's like a motif a day piece. She also has another piece called 324 the sequel, I believe, and that is the same color scheme, so all 324 colors and the same arrangement, but instead of cross stitches, it is like black work stitches, like so like fun, like back stitching motifs. And I don't have it in me to do another one this year, but I like that there are options. I think 365 might be a fun one to convert into like a temperature themed piece. I've always kind of wanted to do a temperature, like either a temperature cross stitch or a temperature blanket. I actually kind of more prone to wanting to do a temperature blanket, or I'm sorry, temperature cross stitch, because I think a blanket would be, a lot of yarn to store. So anyway, that is my current active WIP basket. Oh, you know what? There's one more, but where did it go? Did I skip it by accident? I did, because it's right in front. I gotta show you the piece I've been working on the most, because it is almost done. I just hit like the 95% on this. And I'm excited because I've really been enjoying all these little stitches on this piece, and I have, a lot of excitement about finishing it because it's going to be so cute when it's done. Okay. This one is the wrinkliest because I've been working on it so much. I'll hold it like this. So I am almost done with Festive Forest. And this is a design by the Blue Flower. I am stitching this on 36 count fiber on a whim cypress over 2 threads. This was an exclusive pattern and class from last year's Jingle Ball. So I started this in November, and I've been working on it ever since. There are about 12,000 stitches, I think, in this design. And I just have this piece left. So a couple more animals, but all of the borders are done. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to sew all those little triangles together to form a pyramid on top, or a peak on top, and then sew the bottom onto like a hexagon base. And then I'll have like what we in the class called a muffin, because the Jingle Ball class involved finishing this piece. And I was just really happy that I could, get to know Janine, the designer, a little better in that class. And, I think it's going to be a fun thing to finish. Now, I had to restart this because originally I bought the called for fabric, which was a 32 count, same color, cypress, and then I couldn't get it to fit. I mismeasured in my head how much fabric I needed. So I ended up unpicking that out because all of these flosses are specialty flosses. There are a couple DMCs, but then a lot of this is Roxy Floss Company and Weeks Dye Works. And then there were some that were called for in Cottage Garden Threads, but I ended up substituting DMCs because I could not source the thread. I didn't buy this in time to get the kit directly from Janine. So I have that other piece of fabric, and I have that kitted up for the future. And then on this piece, I actually have a very long, skinny leftover piece of fabric. I have this folded in half right now, and there is a very similar pattern that she's made that I will stitch on the other half of the fabric once I cut this piece off and finish it. This is what they look like when they're finished. This is the other design, Bees in the Greenhouse. This one actually I think will be easier to stitch because I think there are fewer stitches. So yay, roll right into the next project, right? So I think I can finish the stitching on this like by this weekend. And so maybe by the next time I have a video, I'll have my Christmas or my winter folk finished, and then I will have this one finished to show you too. So okay, I am going to cut the video. I'm going to go get my cutting board, which is like just out of reach. And then let's get my WIP bin out and let us, just start sorting. Okay, I have my cutting board now. So, and then I have my full bin of works in progress that are in no order. And then I have an empty bin that I'm going to sit on the floor to kind of decant into, I guess. So I guess I need to start with the biggest WIP I have. And this WIP is something that I did not work on at all in 2024. And I do want to continue working on it. So I'll spoil that right away. I do want to keep working on this, but I think that I need a new plan. So let me get it out of the Q snap here. Oh my gosh, it's so tight. Oh. Do you guys like the Q snaps? I like them, but I also have heard that Nerge hoops are really great, and I might want to try them. This piece is particularly tight because I have folded the fabric so that it is more manageable, because the fabric piece on this design is quite big. It's about a yard of fabric, I believe. Oh, this one last part's being really stubborn. Probably shouldn't store this in the Q snap, especially if it's going to be this way. It's coming, it's coming. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here is my first work in progress. And this is a design that, I'll show you the photo. Gamer Nouveau by Medusa Dollmaker, who is the artist. And this was licensed to Gecko Rouge and sold as a kit through Gecko Rouge's Etsy. Now you could choose the sizing of your fabric, and I ended up choosing an 18 count Aida fabric, and then the kit came with the fabric, the pattern, and then all of the flosses. And this is what I've got. So this pattern is on 42 full pattern pages, that are just all cross stitch, full coverage cross stitch. I decided to start in one corner, so page 1, and then I moved to page 2, this page, and then I'm working kind of diagonally with pages, and I've just done this one, and then diagonally. And the reason I did that is because the design, as you might remember, has a lot of blue stitches on the border, and I thought I would go insane if I just had a whole year of just the blue, even though there are a couple little subtle stars in here. Now the finished design is going to be about, does it say it? 21 inches by 30 inches. The stitches are 370 by 534. There are 99 DMC colors, and this is where I am stuck. So there is a lot of confetti on this piece, so it takes a while to do a page. There is also a little bit of a fear that I'm going to run out of the kit colors, because I actually found a thread in Reddit from someone who completed this piece, and she said she ran out of floss with some of the colors about halfway through the design. This is how the colors are set up. There are a couple little bags that have the extra colors, all the blue, but then what they've done is they've put the floss in this little paper folder thing in pages, kind of like a book. And because these pages are made of cardstock, I find them very difficult to manage. And so I need to do some thread management for this piece, and I am prepared to do so. Let me show you what I just bought. So I just bought a 100 pack of thread chips by Adam Hart Cross Stitch. They're just the standard clear plain thread chips. I'll open this so that I can show you the chips. And I already have a stash of a bunch of floss rings. This came with one floss ring, which you can't put all 100 on there. But these are the chips. So we've got a spot for the ring, a spot for the bulk of the floss, and then a spot for your scrappy floss. I really have been enjoying using these. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 rings, 20 flosses on each ring, and I will just have to label it. I will keep the original card key so that I know, which floss is which symbol. And so that is phase 1. untangle the floss so it's not like a huge 100 floss snarl. Thing two is I am going to use my detective skills to figure out the DMC colors for each of these flosses so that I can buy additional floss for the colors that I'm running short on, and I can start merging it in. Because as you know, DMC does sometimes change their formulations so that the colors of, like when I bought this, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago, might be a little different than the colors that I can buy now. But if I have some of the leftover floss in the kit and I have brand new floss and the colors are close enough, I can like take one strand of each floss and work them together so that it's not really obvious, like in the actual finished piece. You know, it'll be a subtle change. Now, one thing I do know from that person on Reddit is that these flosses that are on the floss card are in like DMC numeric order. So that will help. I also have a color card from DMC that's about the same age as this project. Yeah, I think that I'll do that and then I'll go shopping, you know, with probably like an Excel spreadsheet or something. And then I'll have this all organized and then it'll be easier to pick up because a lot of the time reason I didn't pick it up is because it's so involved. It does not travel, you know, at all. So it's a really big project and I do want to finish it. It is a video game themed project, but it is like classic video games. So it's not like all of a sudden I'll wake up one day and I'll hate Mario because Mario's been around, you know, since I was a kid in the 80s. And so there's a lot of nostalgia in the piece for me. I keep it in a giant scrapbook box like this. And I want to continue to work on it. So that is a WIP that is continuing into 2025 and hopefully getting some stitches in it. So now I have this basket, which is just a lot of other WIPs. And I am just going to open these up and then we are going to make decisions about whether or not I'm going to stitch on them or I'm going to abandon them. Now, if I abandon them, I'll have to decide what to do. Like if I'm getting rid of them, like donating them or what. So, okay, here is the next project. And I almost thought, I was like, oh no, I've made a critical mistake. This is a design that I just purchased. It's by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It is called Winter Waddleland. And I'll put a picture of the design because I don't have a printed out picture. But I am only about this much done. And actually, I have been using this in Markup RXP. So I bet you I can just come up with a picture from there if I can open my iPad. But even though this is just a little tiny bit, I think it's like more than 5% done for the pattern. So let me see. Yeah, this is 9% of the whole design. And so I don't want to give up yet. Here's the design. See, it's little penguins. They're skating with their friends. And that's what I've got. So I definitely will continue to work on this. I think that especially since I just finished those other like winter themed things, I think I've just been kind of like, oh, winter. I also have that Arctic Animals one, and it's very similar, even though penguins are South Pole and they are not in the Arctic. But, you know, kind of just like wintry, cute animal stitching. And so I will continue this in 2025. Let me see what's in the next bag. Oh, this is one I haven't even started yet, but that's okay. Remember I told you that I had that fabric that I had started Festive Forest on, and then I had to unpick the stitches? Here's the fabric. I thought it would be great for this. This is an Artsy Housewife design called A Study in Pink. And I just purchased this last year, and I just kitted it up. And so it's in my WIP bin, but I haven't actually started it. And so I can't abandon it yet. So this will be like another like 2025, probably a 2025 new start when I get to it. I'll show you the flosses. These are the flosses. This is the fabric. Lots of really pretty earthy tones. Yeah, I'm glad I found that again. This is going to be like a discovery for me too. And I bet you I will not get rid of a lot of things because I'm so nostalgic. So keep. Here's the next one. Oh, I know what this is. this is one I did work on in 2024, but not a lot. And also it has 8 million stitches. And so I do want to work on it, but not necessarily, you know, right away. You have a cat somewhere. Hey, are you being okay? Where are you? Okay. I hear her like clinking on something, like but I don't know what she's doing. My cat sometimes, to get my attention, likes to like kind of clink against things. Oh, she's in a different room. Okay, I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, mischief managed. She wanted me to fill her water dish. So I just pulled this out, but I don't think I've talked about it yet. This is a design by Satsuma Street. It is called the Animal House. And I did work on this. I know that because I know I have in Markup RXP. And that means that because I just started Markup RXP this year, I've worked on it. So let me see if I have a photo of it. I do. Oh, goodness. Can I do this like multiple handed? Here's the design. See, it's a house. It has animals. And then here is where I am. I've got part of the house and some of the animals. Now, if I go out, I can tell you exactly. I'm a little bit over a quarter of the way done with this. I'm 27% done. I love these bright colors. I also really, really love a companion piece that she made last year called the Monster House. It's like a Halloween themed one. And I bought that design because I really, 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 really wanted to stitch it. But I can't stitch it until I finish this one because I just think that that would be bad. To have two monster houses. I'm stitching this on like a natural, like 28 count DMC. I believe I bought the DMC and the floss from her. She offered the floss in DMC and in Cosmo. I have the DMC threads. They're like 30 million colors. So I'll show you real quickly that monster house because I do have the pattern. I don't have it kitted up, but see, similar vibe. That also looks like it has a lot of stitches in it. I can't do two cool houses all at once because yeah, I just can't. That one is 14,000 stitches. How much is this one? 13,000 stitches. So yeah, I want to continue to finish it. So yep, continuing into 2025. Here's another one. Oh, and this one I started last year and I just haven't finished it. But I really am glad that I started it because this was one that was on my to be started pile for a while. This is 1844 Lady Man by Bendy Stitchy Designs. This is as far as I am. I am about 30% done according to Markup RXP. Here is the actual pattern leaflet with the photo. I'm quite the lady man, 1844. So this is a reproduction of a sampler from, I guess, presumably 1884 or 1844. There's some really interesting like butterflies, a little sun in the corner, the man and his dog and his manor. This reminds me of like Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. And Mr. Darcy was like so arrogant, because that was the plot of the story. And he was quite the ladies' man too. And so I definitely will continue this. I have this in this really cool bag. I got this at the retreat I went to last September. It's a bag by Soulful Creations. It's got some Tula pink fabric and a cool iridescent zipper. So very nicely well-made bag. So cool. Okay, here's another bag. This is a Michelle Lee Quilts bag. Oh, and this is my first am I gonna finish this or not pattern. This is Friendstitch, Glad Tidings, Great Joy. Here's the pattern leaflet. It's another long and skinny. And here is what I've gotten stitched. Do I have this in markup? I do. I am about 25% done with this. I know I am stitching this on a 28 count fabric by Fiberlicious called Chai Love You a Lot. And that's what I have. And you know what? I think that the reason I'm not into it is it's just really a lot of brown. So I tend to gravitate toward brighter colors and like neutrals that are like kind of more like blue or gray toned. And I just yeah, I'm not feeling this one right now. Now this was a kit. So Friendstitch is like an online like retreat thing, and they send like a box ahead of time, and then you like wait and you open the box during the thing. And the box had a lot of other cute ornaments. This was a collaboration between Heart and Hand and Bent Creek Designs. And so the pattern was designed by both of them. And you know, I made a lot of the little extra ornaments, and I do enjoy those ornaments. But this piece, I just I have other things I want to stitch ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull it out of my project bag. I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. I am not going to get rid of it because I do like it, but I just don't think I'm going to stitch it this year. And so I am going to put it in the vault, which is an area in my basement that I just started that has some projects I can't get rid of, but I don't want to work on. And so maybe we'll open that vault in a future video. We'll see. I think I'll have to get a lot of stitching done first. Okay, here's another project that I haven't done a lot of stitching on. Oh, and there's a card in here. So, okay, that is not related to this. So this is a pattern by WIP Forest Embroidery. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they just, it's a Russian-based company that makes thread packs, and then they sell patterns to go with their thread packs. This is bees. It's a bee-themed one, but I don't remember what it's called. WIP Forest bees. And actually, golden bees, maybe. Nope. Yeah, golden bees by WIP Forest Embroidery. Now, let me show you the floss first. The floss comes in, oh, there's a needle minder. It looks like this was a kit that had a needle minder, and then it has these little flosses that come in bobbins, and you can see like there are lots of beautiful colors and stuff in there. And then this is the actual stitching. Now, I actually didn't purchase this. This was given to me by my friend Sarah from Sarah Stitchery. And when she gave it to me, she had done the black part of this first little bee, and then I have done the rest of the stitching with the floss. I like it. I just don't know. I'm not feeling it. And you know, the irony is I have a lot of other bee themed projects that I have kitted up that I kind of want to stitch on more. And so I think that I'm going to set this aside. But I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in the vault or if I'm going to see if maybe I have a stitchy friend I want to pass it on to. So I guess I need a third pile. I have a vault pile, maybe I pass it on pile, and then yeah, let's continue working on that pile. So put that right there. Okay, next one is in kind of a cute frosted pumpkin themed bag, so it must be a frosted pumpkin themed project, and it certainly is. This is Castle Homecoming, the stitch along I mentioned a little bit earlier. This is so pretty. Oh, I'd forgotten how pretty it was. Oh my gosh, that cat, excuse me. So my cat is on a diet. We just had an annual well check, and she's gained like, I don't know, 4 ounces over the last year, which doesn't seem like a lot, but she's like a constant like food mooch throughout our house. She's always like taking like people's food off their plates if they're not guarding them, and you know, just being kind of a nuisance. And so I have her on just like kind of like a measured, like I'm the only one who gives her food, and she wants food. And I said, no, you already had your food. And we had a little bit of a fight. So I gave her some catnip though. Catnip is, you know, either going to make her like really wild or it'll put her to sleep. We'll see. So I was talking about this pattern. This is Castle Homecoming. Show you what I've got. Isn't this cute? This is a big stitch along. This was a year-long stitch along, and I fell very behind, and I just never caught up. So this is going to have to be a stitch alone for me. I do have it in markup, RXP. It looks like the last time I touched it was in October last year. I have 8,000 stitches complete. It is 19,000 stitches. So I'm about 40% done. I like all the little details. I love the colors. There's the start of a like kind of like floral border that goes around the top, kind of like an illuminated page, like in an old manuscript. Yeah, there's no way I will get rid of this piece. I love it. And so I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to get some more stitches in it. So for these projects that I am going to get more stitches in, I'm going to use an app called Tiny Decisions, and I'm going to make what I call a WIP wheel. And so what I'll do is I'll spin the WIP wheel with all of the options, and then I will devote like a full week of stitching to whatever ends up being on that. And sometimes I find that that is all I need to get significant enough progress on something to like push for a finish. And so let's see if that works out. You know, are you a stitcher that has like a lot of works in progress, or are you like someone who like works on one thing at a time? I obviously am a lots of progress person. So this is another stitch piece that I got at a retreat. I got this at Stitch Away in 2023, and this is designed by Judy Whitman, and I'll show you the pattern pamphlet. This is Bluebirds of Happiness. This is now available, so you can purchase this. There's actually a companion piece too about cardinals, when cardinals appear. And I'm stitching this on a 40 count, whoops, excuse me, Atomic Ranch fabric. I believe the color is called Freeze, like Frieze, like a fresco, I guess. Take this out of the hoop here. And these itty bitty stitches are really cute. So this was given to us as like a retreat gift. It included all of the flosses, which look like they are a mix of classic colorworks and DMCs on a thread card. I don't have this in Markup RXP because this was a physical pattern, and so I haven't put it in there. But this is how much I've gotten done. Here, where's my cutting board? Here we go. Isn't this fabric pretty? It's got a lot of pink in it, which sets off nicely with the blues. Yeah, this one's a real wrinkly one. So I like this piece. I'm going to continue working on it. You know, it reminds me of like the time I spent with my friends, you know, at this retreat. I sat at a table with my friend Kim, my friend Jen, Allison, and her mom Kathy. Who else? Sarah was there. Another Sarah Starr was there. Holly Joe, and oh, who else was there? I'm sorry. It was like over a year ago. But I made a lot of friends at that retreat, and it was a lot of fun, even though it was scary to drive down to Ohio. It was like a 5-hour drive from my house. It's held at this lodge at a state park in Ohio near Oxford. Yeah, kind of out on the outskirts of Cincinnati area. It's hosted by Keepsakes, the people that do StitchCon. So yay. This is a keeper. Add it to my WIP wheel. Well, this isn't a good sign. This isn't even in a project bag. It is in a Ziploc bag. So that means I haven't worked on it in a very long time. I used to use Ziploc bags for everything until I learned how to make project bags, and then I started buying project bags as retreat, like souvenirs. But this is a pretty cute pattern. Let me show you what I've got. So this is an old WIP of mine. I can tell by the fabric. This feels like it's like some sort of like Charles Craft, like Monaco or something. It's really a thick fabric. You know, it doesn't, yeah. But this pattern is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it is another one of their year-long stitch-alongs. And this one is Storytime Sampler, I believe. Is that what this one's called? Oh my gosh. I'm being a bad pumpkin fan. Yeah, this is the Storytime Sampler. So 12 little ovals, each having like a literary character. So I have one of the ovals done. Looks like it's Alice in Wonderland. There is a banner at the top that says Once Upon a Time, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 across, 3 down. I have one, and then the second one, and that looks like that was probably Anne of Green Gables, but I don't know. I can't tell. I'm looking at the project. It is in Markup RXP, but I haven't done it. And it looks like the second one was Mary Crew from The Secret Garden, which is one of my favorite childhood books. I'll show you the design. So, see? Cute. So I bought this when the Stitch Along was released. There will be the date right on it, 2015, so 10 years ago. And I fell way behind, and then I never caught up. But it's really kind of fun. I've really journeyed, like looking at these stitches from 10 years ago. Boy, my stitching has improved. I've learned some new techniques. I think for nostalgia reasons, I will not give this away or put it in the vault. I think I'm going to work on it. This might be my next year's Stitch Alone if I don't get to it sooner. So, because I really am feeling motivated with my other one. And it looks like I have the fabric package. So this was like a Jobalon by We Shall. The color is Star Sapphire. It's a 28 count. Nice fabric. Now, I got a lot of fabric from my aunt. She used to have a small cross stitch business. And when she retired, I went and I helped her clean out her craft area. And she gave me like bundles and bundles and bundles of fabric. And actually, I think probably over half of the fabric that I have in my fabric stash came from that one time with my aunt. So thanks, Aunt Cam. I'm using it. So, okay. This is another one that is in a Ziploc bag. And so things are not looking good. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is a Lizzie Kate design. Lizzie Kate is no longer in business, but you can still get a lot of the leaflets through like 123 Stitch. I think they bought the license. This is the leaflet, the ABCs of parenting. So a bunch of little phrases that are like, accept your child, B, C, D, E, F, like ABCs. Get your Z's. Huh, that's funny. So I have the threads. It looks like this is old enough that these are Crescent Colors threads. So what Classic Color Works used to be called. Lot of blacksmith blue for the words. And then it looks like I put it on a 32 count Belfast in antique ivory from my aunt, a giant piece that I, of course, started the piece in the middle because I'm such a noob. This has to be probably about 10 years old because 10 years ago, I would have been really into parenting cross stitches. Look how huge this is. This is what I've got. You can probably tell from the tone of my voice that I'm not feeling this one. And I think the reason I'm not feeling it is because I'm not in that phase of parenting anymore where I'm like, oh, the struggle is real with naps. Man, I wish my kids still napped. That was like a blink and like, like you plan your whole day around nap time. That was a fun time. I am going to put this in the maybe destash to someone else's pile. 2 more pieces in here. Okay, this is another one that I started with a group of friends. Actually, a lot of those same friends I just mentioned. This is a 3-part mystery sampler, also by Lizzie Kate. And they sold them in like 3 pieces. And so you had to buy like 3 pamphlets to get the entire design. But the last pamphlet does have the full design. This is called Things Unseen by Lizzie Kate. And that's the full design. And so we as a group all decided to start stitching this a couple years ago. I never finished mine. I do know some of the people did. I know like Holly from Hobbies of Holly was in that group. I'm pretty sure she finished hers. And do you know who just restarted it? Sarah from Sarah's Stitchery with her local friend group where she lives. Restarted it, and I think when she restarted it, she started it on like a new fabric, and she was making a lot of progress. I did mine on a Picture This Plus fabric that was a 28 count. I think the color was called Glory, and there was like a little piece cut out at the bottom, and here it is. It's huge because I did it on a 28 count. I think if I were to start this today, I would do what Sarah is doing, and I would have it on a smaller piece of fabric because I'm like, what am I going to do with this giant thing when it's done? Boy, I'm really close to done. And the other thing too is this is like fully kitted up. I have all the flosses. Looks like they're Weeks Dye Works. So like and then there are embellishments that come with this. All these little embellishments, like a little button kit. I don't know. I'm in touch with these friends. you know, so it's not like, oh, friendship ended and now I never want to stitch it. No, it's not that at all. It's like I'm not sure I like the fabric, but I got so much of it done. I think I'm gonna bag this for the vault. And so when I take things and I put them in the vault, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fabric and the floss and the pattern together in a bag. I'll remove any needle minders and needles and stuff I have in there. If there's stray threads, I might like tuck them in just because I don't like to do that. And then I have in Craft Dungeon a box that is not full. And so I think that adding these two patterns will be okay. And then let's look at the last pattern. I also found this like thread bed that is not matching, but it's not being used. It's cute. It's by Tiffany, Black Cat X Stitchery. And actually, I think I'm using that mermaid bag for another one of my WIPs that I put in the like continue area. So, oh, you know what? I'm using it for a current WIP. I can see it. So yeah, let's put those back together. So, hey, I have one more project bag. This is a project bag I actually made myself, Tulip Pink. Big hot mess in there. But this is a pattern, a series called Pen Pals by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And these are just so little and easy that I will continue on this with 2025. This is actually not one pattern. It is 8 million patterns. Like they did a whole year. Each of the patterns looks like a little postage stamp. I think I have it in here that I can show you, just like the Dropbox file so you can see the cover. Oh, but because that's kind of like a pick it up and like get it done in a day thing, I'm not going to vault it. I bought all of the floss and all of the fabric to do pretty much all of the pen pals, with the exception of I didn't buy the stuff to do like a Hanukkah one. But maybe I will. I think at the time I was thinking like, well, because I don't celebrate Hanukkah, I shouldn't make a Hanukkah piece. But I guess it's okay to make things, right? You know, it's still like acknowledging that, you know, that's part of that season, right? And so I'll probably will just do all of them. It is taking forever to load because it's a huge file. Looks like I started this project in 2019 based on the, you know, what I like the file age. But here they are. See, they're like little postage stamps. And I've done some of them, but not all of them. And I was doing them in like chronological year order. So if I were going to continue them, there's that Hanukkah one. If I were going to continue them, this would be the year to do it, because I think that I left off with like the spring ones. I know that I like have these Valentine's Day ones in my Valentine's Day decorations. And I know I did that guy. I think that I got up to like this beach lady, and then I have all of these other ones on the bottom to do. So this is a keep for this year. So, and now my WIP bin is empty. So let me do some counting. So I have 2 projects that I am going to fully abandon, that I'm going to find new homes for. I have 2 projects that I'm going to vault, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 WIPs for my WIP parade. So, or WIP or not parade, I guess. So yeah, that feels good. I'm really glad I got to see and touch all of these things. I'm glad that I think that they will fit into my wire basket on my shelf. So I'm not going to be like fighting to stuff something in there. And I'm hoping that I'll get the motivation to finish several of these this year, although I'm not sure which ones they'll be. And that's kind of fun, you know, like it's a loose plan. So let me clean this up. And then I wanted to update you on my other 2025 aspiration, which is doing a Christmas project all year round. I have some that I've finished that I want to show you. And then I thought I would just end it with just a very, very brief like haul. I got a new fabric I'm excited about. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I've picked out from Needlework Market. And then, yeah, we'll wrap things up. So one of my year-long projects is to catch up on a lot of Christmas works in progress, because other than that one that I am putting in the vault, I have like a lot of Christmas works that I really enjoy working on that I'd like to get done this year. So I can have one thing. Now, I did finish one in January. That was Snow Gnomes Snow Cones. I showed it in my last video. Here's a photo of it though. I finished it on a cute board. And then I finished my February project too. And that is this right here. These are snow globes ornaments by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. These were stitched on 14 count perforated paper. And I have finished ornaments now. There's 4 of them. So I'm using some twine that I got from Target, probably during gift wrap season. And then I just backed each one with felt using glue. I followed a tutorial actually I saw on another Flosstuber's vlog, Elizabeth from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. And I really, really appreciated that she had that because I didn't know how to finish perforated paper ornaments. And I think that really led to the delay. But they're really easy. I used not Aleene's tacky glue, not the white tacky glue, but there's a clear glue that Aleene's makes called Fabric Fusion. And it is a little smoother, like it's more liquidy. And so I used that and a brush on the felt to get a really thin layer of glue, and then I put the perforated paper on. Now I cut the paper outlines out first, and then I cut the felt, and then I used a sharp knife just to kind of like an X-Acto just to neaten up the edges. And then as they dried, I put them under a heavy book to keep them flat. And they're not perfectly flat. They do have a tendency to kind of curl a little bit, but they are so cute. And I'm really happy to have all 4 of these done for my February Christmas all year round project. Ta-da! So I have another project that I finished that because I finished the stitching last year and then I just fully finished it into an object. I'm not counting this as far as my Christmas thing, but I wanted to show you. And that is Christmas on Gingerbread Lane. And I made this into a throw cushion. I used fabric from my stash. I had a really cool Ruby Star Society Christmas ornament print. And then just another one that this pink really just seemed to coordinate really well with the pink in the pattern. This design is stitched on 28 count Ale by Picture This Plus, designed by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Started many years ago and just finished, this season. On the back, I have an envelope style closure. I used an Allison Glass Christmas print I had from Stash. Those cool motifs. And I'm just really happy with it. Now, when I did my quilt math to figure out how to cut the pieces, I primarily use like fat quarter cuts of fabric, and so I always try to make sure that I have enough fabric to do what I want to do. I cut it, and I thought I was making a 16-inch pillow, but I misdid my math, and it actually turned out to be a 17-inch. But it is on a 16-inch pillow form. This is actually a pillow I had on my couch that, for some reason I have 10 throw cushions on my couch, and like half of them end up kind of wedged in the corner. So I took one of those throw cushions and I made it into a cute holiday themed one. Now, I could go get like a 17-inch square pillow. I don't think they make them 17-inch, but they definitely make them 18-inch. And you can like take some of the stuffing out if you want, or a lot of times they'll fit because they lose their sleep over time. But for now, I'm happy with having it in the 16-inch pillow, and I could always also kind of take it in too. I could sew another half-inch in on the border to make it just that much smaller, but that's a problem for later. So yay, Christmas finishes. So 25 finishes for 2025. I'm counting those as my first 3. So I've got my snow globes, that the snow cones, the snow cone one from last month, and then the Frosty Tiny Town that I showed you. So that's 4 projects. Yay! Now in this bin, I have just gathered all of my other Christmas projects for this year. I think what I will do is I will do a tiny decision wheel so I can determine what I'm going to do for March. I've got a lot of good choices in here. My March project might not be a cross stitch thing. I remember I have those felt ornaments, so that's in here too. And then I have some that I need to kit up that I have the patterns purchased, but I don't have the fabric chosen or the floss sorted out. I thought about doing that this week. I have a Joanne Fabrics in my town that's closing. I'm really sad about that. That store has been there since my whole life. My mom used to buy my Halloween costume fabric there, in the same location and everything. Um, I have gone through a liquidation. I used to work for a video store. I was the store manager there back in like 2006, same year I got married, actually. And I gotta say that that liquidation is so rough on the employees and so sad, especially if you were an employee who really liked that job. You kind of watch the store and all the displays and all the things that you worked hard to, build kind of just get slowly destroyed over time. And you are also helpless to like provide the same level of customer service that you might want to provide because when a company declares bankruptcy and then they sell their assets to a liquidator, you no longer work for the company you worked for. You work for the liquidator. And the liquidator can like have different rules, like no returns. It's broken, too bad, you bought it, And that can be really hard because sometimes customers are very disappointed and you are in the mode where you like want to help them, but you can't, like, and you can get fired for it. I actually got in trouble for doing a return back 20 years ago. I still remember it because I was like, oh, this is not good. I just, that's so sad. And I feel really bad for the Joanne employees. I feel bad for people who like to shop at Joanne Fabrics, who are maybe small business owners and that's their craft store. And now they have to source all their stuff. I have a lot of places I can buy my materials. And maybe that was part of the problem is that I didn't shop at Joanne Fabrics enough. And so I probably won't go. I know they're liquidating right now. I think it's just too sad and just out of respect for the people. I probably won't go and shop it. So yeah. Anyway, I have been doing some shopping though. And one thing that I'm really excited for is the Nashville Needlework Market is releasing their patterns pretty soon. And I purchased a couple and I wanted to tell you about them. I'm going to get my email. I purchased them from Top Knot Stitcher. Abby from Top Knot is wonderful. I did 2 separate transactions because I went in and then I went in and I double dipped and get the second one. So please excuse me while I sort through the 8 million emails that I haven't deleted yet. I get so much email. So what I will do is I will take some screenshots of photos so that I can tell you the name of the pattern I purchased and then, the photo will show up. So my first order, I pre-ordered a Tiny Modernist pattern that is a market exclusive called My Cat Helper, and it's a black cat with like sewing notions, and it's really cute. It looks a lot like cat tapestry, which I stitched last year and showed you in one of my very first Flosstube videos, and so that's one I got. I got a design by Rebel Stitcher Designs, Colleen. It's called Disagree, and it is a Quaker that has a, message in the middle that I agree with. And so I did that one. And then I have a pattern from a new designer to me. The name of the designer is Una Buena Piezza. And I got a hoop finish called Seasons Town. Oh, it's so cute. I'm looking at my very crummy like PDF picture of the receipt from Top Knot, and it's divided into like little quadrants with seasons, and they're like cute little houses. I'm excited to stitch it. And then I got some patterns by Robin Pickens because I'm going to that retreat this fall where Robin Pickens is the guest designer. And so I got Facing the Sun, which I think has this really cool, bright, like mid-mod feel that fits my vibe. And then I actually made a mistake because I think there was a button at the bottom that was like, hey, you might also like this one. And so I got another one that is called Sweater Weather Springtime Florals. And then I figured out that Sweater Weather Springtime Florals is part of a series. And it looks like it might be a series that is still being released. And I just finished my folk series by Hands On Design. And so you know how I love seasonal stitches. So for my second invoice, which I did last night, whoops, let me find it. I'm so sorry. I don't delete my email enough and I just have so many. Okay, here it is. My second order, also from Top Knot Stitcher. And she will combine shipping, but you know, her shipping is like $5 flat rate. And I'm not going to ask her to do it because I'm sure that people are just adding more and more transactions as like designers keep releasing patterns. So I got that sweater weather one and I really was like, I gotta get the other ones. And so I ended up getting fall acorn and then winter pine cone too. So I have a new series. new series I'm going to start. Now, Robin Pickens is also a quilt designer, and I believe she has a fabric line with Moda. And so that'll be kind of fun. I will probably buy coordinating fabrics to do some fun seasonal finishes with those. I then went back and I looked at all of the rest of the Una Buena Piazza patterns, and I got another one, and that one is Dino Garden. And she had a lot of like these skinny, tall rectangle pieces. She also had one that was like on the sea, you know, it had a lot of sea animals that I liked, but I just did Under the Sea last year by Frosty Pumpkin Stitchery. She had another seasons one. She had a Halloween forest. That is, they're so cute. I want to learn more about this designer because I think that I like just the like pixel art quality of her designs. And then yesterday, Kathy from Hands on Design started announcing all of her Nashville releases, and I was like, oh no. So I ordered two of those. I ordered There's a Hair in My Garden, which is a strawberry finish. Here's the picture. And what I think is really cute is last year I did Kathy's Berry Basket series, and I finished them into those little strawberries. And at the time I was thinking, oh man, it'd be really cool if she did a carrot for Easter. And then she did. I know it's a strawberry, but I'm thinking it's a chubby carrot. And I'm going to treat it like a carrot. And so I'm excited about that piece. And then the other piece I'm excited about is called Ladybug Picnic. And there it is. And a lot of it is because that fabric is so gorgeous. It's like a pomegranate by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I just think it's going to be really pretty. It also really coordinates well with one that Kathy designed last year called Botanical Bee. And I have the pattern leaflet along with like there's a little ghost one that's kind of like the same dimensions. And then there is a Thanksgiving one that I don't have. But then there's one called Liberty Pennies that's like a patriotic stitch. And so maybe those are going to be some stitches that happen this year too. But I was really excited about Ladybug Picnic because I wanted to show you what I got in the mail. And that is my Fiberlicious Fabric of the Month club fabric. And look at it. It's so beautiful. It's called Rosie Amore. I got a 40 count cut of linen. I'll unfold it so you can see it. Isn't this just so pretty? It actually reminds me a lot of that pomegranate by Fabrics by Stephanie. Now, this isn't the right count for that Ladybug Picnic, but I saw another pattern online that I was really excited about. And I think it's called Cherry Magpie. I will find out the right title and I will put the photo here, but I'm thinking this might be for that. You know, this would be good for Things Unseen too, because it's the small count that I wanted. Options. I have options. I just wanted to show it to you. The other thing that I got that's kind of a crafty haul is not cross-stitch themed, but I just wanted to show you. I got to cover my address on the box. I got my Allison Glass Studio subscription box yesterday, and I had a chance to open it up. Now, this is a subscription she offered last year. I think it's closed, but she moved studios. And so it's like a quarterly box where she sends like studio items, like gift items that they offer, and then also like tiny cuts of every single fabric Allison Glass has ever released. And I love Allison Glass fabrics, and so I was really happy to get this. I'll just show you a couple things. Well, first off, look how chock full this box is. There's a lot of stuff. Oh no, I'm knocking everything down. You got a cute enamel pin. It says 100 on the moth. That's because this was a pin to celebrate Andover Fabrics' 100th anniversary. And then the fabric sample cuts are these like little 2.5-inch squares, and they get packaged by the fabric line, and then they're labeled on the back, you know, what the fabric is. So at the end of the subscription, when it's over at the end of the year, we will have a little piece of every single piece of fabric that Allison Glass has designed. And I think that'll be really cool. I think that I have an idea for a really fun project I can use all of these pieces in, because I do like to quilt. Just not lately. So I wanted to show you some of the things. So there was a bag that was like fun new studio stuff, and I was like, ooh, what's new? I don't want to dump it on the floor. Sorry about the crinkle crinkle here. Okay, so what's new? Well, looks like what's new is cute turtle stuff. Look at that. That's a sticker and a little bookmark, double-sided bookmark. I got another little house pin. You might remember that on my first box, I got this same pattern, but like a different piece. And they remind me of the little houses like in a neighborhood. Like, yeah. And so I'm excited about that. And then I got this really cool mushroom notebook. It looks like it is dot grid style. So cool. I haven't sorted through all of this, but it is just chock full of cool Allison Glass stuff. And so I am really happy that I'm part of the subscription. And I think quarterly is like a really good rate, like for getting this kind of stuff. And now that I've gotten 2 boxes, I can kind of see like the theme. Like, oh, wow, I wonder if I'll get like a little house pin every month. You know, who knows? So, well, despite my best efforts at staying organized, I have piles of crafts surrounding me, but I guess I wouldn't have it any other way. I am just really happy that I have had, some time to kind of think about like my intentions for this year. I know that it seems chaotic and spontaneous, and I do enjoy that. I enjoy the freedom to just kind of jump in and do things, as I see them. But I also like that I have plans. And I'm happy to go through and maybe make plans to stitch those neglected works in progress that have been in that basket in my family room, as well as continue the things that I'm working on currently. I have also been knitting. I'm not going to get it out to show you because it's doesn't actually look different, even though I know it's different. I've been working on my unicorn stripes scarf. I think I've added 2 more colors. I'm starting to move into like the bright happy colors on that. And then for my crochet project, I ended up adding a whole nother row of blocks to my origami blanket that I showed you last time. So that makes me almost 2/3 done with the blanket. I actually, when I get done with this, while I wait for this video to upload to the cloud so I can start editing, I'm going to get that out and I'm going to work on that. But first I have to put all this stuff away. And my cat has fallen asleep because the catnip worked. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. If you liked what you saw, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. I try to upload a couple times a month. Snow days sometimes get in the way though. And I also really enjoy your comments. I read every one, and because I get like a manageable amount of comments, I really try to make a comment back. I have 2 that I need to, follow up on after I, turn off tonight from my last video. But I appreciate you being here. I hope that if you are a crafty person, that you get all the stitches in this week. And until next time, we'll see you again. Thanks again, friend. Take care. Bye-bye. What am I going to do with you?